Hello, everybody. This is José Ignacio from the Uncomfortable Dialogues 2022.
I am honored and delighted to introduce to you Thiele. Terry is a phenomenal business leader. I mean, he's a writer, he's a strategist, he's a Cold War veteran. He works on government relationships, advocacy, environmental strategy. So he's truly a phenomenal leader. And the other thing that is very interesting, and you will see in today's dialogue, he's also an author. So without any further ado, welcome to our Uncomfortable Dialogue 2022, Terry. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and how are you, Jose?
I'm doing fine. I mean, looking forward to this conversation. It's going to be very exciting.
Me too.
And the purpose of this dialogue is to really talk about leaders facing adversity. Let's talk about Cassandra and the adversity that she was facing as part of the Greek mythology.
Yes, I've used Cassandra as the poster child, if you will, for my book. She's also the patron saint of strategic planners. Cassandra was the daughter of Priam, king of Troy, and she was the priestess of Apollo. And Greek myth has it that Apollo sought her sexual favors, which she refused him. And then he cursed her with the ability to foretell the future that no one would believe and that she could not change. And she was cursed to witness the events unfold at Troy without any ability to alter it. And I think most strategic planners who work for companies or as consultants or even the government sometimes feel the same way, that they can't get people to see what's coming at them and pay attention to it. And it's basically the theme of the book is that things are coming at us, and unless we take the time to see them, they're going to smack us right in the nose. The title of the book is Our Fourth Age, a village elder's story for young homines sapientes about their future history. And as you look into the future, the challenge we're facing is that the degree and the rate of change, both societal and technological, is accelerating.
Mm-hmm.
And unless we can keep control of our awareness of the facts of that change, we are going to be, if you will, unable to alter it. You've got to understand your environment if you're going to change it. And the environment is changing too rapidly for us. What exacerbates the situation, and I'm going to go back and talk about the four ages that are mentioned in the title. I would argue that as a species, we've gone already through three. In the first age, from about 200,000 years ago up to, let's say 10,000 BC, we were hunter-gatherers. In our second age, from about 10,000 BC up until, I'll pick a date, 1785, we were farmers and herders. From 1785 up to, I'll say, the beginning of the COVID pandemic in 2020, we made things. We were manufacturers. Why did I pick 1785? That was when steam engines became commercially available that were reliable, and that's what powered the Industrial Revolution. Through those three ages, the gradual rate and degree of change slowly accelerated. But someone who lived 200,000 years ago as a hunter-gatherer, if you transported that person up to 12,000 BC, the life people living there wouldn't have looked that much different. And that person would have been able to fit in. The degree and rate of change over that 180,000 years wasn't that much. If you took a farmer from, let's say, 2000 BC, and you forwarded them into the Middle Ages, while the clothes might be different and maybe the houses might be a little different, farming would have looked more or less the same. The rate of change over that time period wasn't that dramatic. It really takes off with the Industrial Revolution in terms of changes in technology and in changes in demographics and society. And I would argue that at the moment we have come to that next inflection point where that rate of change is just taking off. Now, is that something we're going to survive? Well, let's go back and talk about 200,000 years ago. I would argue that in that first age, as a species, we were given, or we developed, I should say, a set of instincts to survive as hunter-gatherers. And those instincts are still embedded in us, even though we're not hunter-gatherers anymore. And I would summarize them as 4 distinct attributes. The first of which is, as a species, we are afraid of everything. Because 200,000 years ago, everything was trying to eat us. And as a result, when we are afraid, we tend to overreact violently. Secondly, we discovered that living as a group improved our chances of surviving, finding a mate, and passing on our genes. So we are intensely social animals. We spend all of our time in groups. In fact, 200,000 years ago, we spent roughly a third of the day picking fleas out of our neighbor's hair. Well, we don't pick the fleas out of our neighbor's hair anymore, but we still spend about a third of each day socializing. And that's why COVID was such a traumatic impact on the young, because it took that socialization away. Thirdly, within a group, we will do anything to improve our status, because the higher up in that pyramid of that group, the greater our chances of survival, finding a mate, and passing on our genes. And believe me, we'll do anything. We'll kill other people. We'll lie, cheat, and steal as a species to move up that pyramid. Fourth and finally, we're curious. But it's not curiosity with any altruistic sense about it. It's curiosity about what's over the hill. We want to know what's over the hill because it might eat us. So it's a defense mechanism, if you will, but we're insatiably curious. Okay, those 4 instincts stick with us. They've been with us forever. Now let's fast forward through those ages to today. And we're confronting demographic change, societal change that we've never seen before. For the first time, more people live in cities than in the country. Urbanization is a fundamentally different environment. And as a result, our demographics are dramatically changing. The confluence of new technologies is obsolescing that economic model between 3D printing and artificial intelligence and new materials and nanotechnology and cheap, ubiquitous off-grid energy, just to name a few of the technological changes. What's complicating it now, what's making this different, is the amount of data that we now have to sort through. It's trying to go from a fire hose down to a teacup.
Excellent. It has been really a fascinating discussion with you. For everybody else watching this dialogue, and if you happen to have any question to Terry or to myself, first of all, you need to read his book. His book is available on internet, on Amazon, and it's a fascinating story because it will show you how to look at the history and based on that knowledge, compare what may happen in the future. So if you happen to have any question to this conversation, to Terry or to myself, just write it down here in YouTube and LinkedIn, and we'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.